Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Now, I saw this on Huffington Post, and I've talked about this before. Huffington Post is like the controllers' news, the Illuminati's news. Like, when you want to find out what the agenda is, you go to Huffington Post because they just put it out there. And so here is the box in which you would click on, the article you would click on. Matt Damon admits he knew Harvey Weinstein sexually harassed Gwyneth Paltrow, and Huffington Post has a picture of them together at that time period, and they say complicit, that Matt Damon was complicit with Harvey Weinstein. And then you go on and read what Matt Damon has to say, and he says, I knew the story about Gwyneth from Ben Affleck, because he was with her after Brad. So I knew the story. But I was working with Gwyneth, with Harvey on Ripley, that horrible Ripley movie he made with her. I never talked to Gwyneth about it, Ben told me. I knew they had come to whatever agreement or understanding that they had come to. She had handled it, and she was the first lady of Miramax. He treated her incredibly respectfully always. And that was a time where she was a big star, and she had won an Oscar, and she was in a lot of movies. And here's the issue with this that's happening. Because everybody in Hollywood's complicit, but they're targeting the men. You can see that this is a war against the masculine principle. Because you got to see that if this is an actual true story, if what Matt Damon is saying is true here, then it was not his job in this case to defend Gwyneth Paltrow. He knew that would have needed to talk to her about it. And of course, his buddy's dating her, and they probably talked about it. And Ben said, yeah, Harvey and Gwen are now cool. And so if Matt Damon went public with this, all of these people, Ben, Harvey, and Gwyneth, would all be mad at him because it was, in this case, as far as he knew, was none of his business. Now, of course, he knew more was going on with Harvey Weinstein. They were pals. But here's the problem with all these things, because I've talked about this. People are all taught now, we're all taught to be self-interested. And the sex offenders that run our country, the abusers that run our country, not just the sex offenders, but they're abusers. They're abusive people. They use people. They have a master-slave mentality where they're the masters, the people I call the controllers, and everyone else are slaves. And so Harvey Weinstein made it into some level of the capstone of the pyramid, not the top level, but he was there. And he was able to do these things like so many of these lower level and higher level Hollywood executives are, and politicians and bankers and all these people. And they've established this idea, and I've talked about that there's money and power in their positions, and they're the gatekeepers to this stardom and all this. I've covered this in so many recent videos. And when you enter this universe, I want to make this clear that I don't think people are understanding it's based on comments. When you enter that universe of consciousness where you say Harvey Weinstein is a big and powerful man, and he has the keys to the kingdom that I want to get in because I want to be a big star. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, all these people, all the women and men who wanted that, they wanted to be elevated in their minds in a position in this universe, the Hollywood universe, the celebrity universe. And it's just an artificial creation. These people, and there's all this hype, and if you watch Entertainment Tonight and you watch all these movies and you start thinking these people are better than you, and that's making it. That's your goal of human life. That's your success point. Nothing to do with God. Because ultimately, anything outside of you believing, and again, this is my opinion based in experience on the spiritual path, anything that you do in life that's outside of the idea that you're doing it because it's a part of your soul's path, and it's bringing you closer to God, that you're merging with God, you're returning to your source. That's the only real thing on this illusionary world. in any universe you get caught up in where people have assumed a position of power, whether it's political power or Hollywood power or money power, banking power, or military power, these positions, a general, a president, a producer, these are all social constructs and they're illusions. And when you submit yourself to this and say, this is a powerful man and I am going to prostrate in front of him and become a slave to this person and allow this person to give this person something in exchange for my keys to the Hollywood kingdom. And that's what all these people the celebrities that make it and the celebrities that don't, that get abused by these freaks, are submitting themselves to this because they want something and it's not a real thing. It's not healthy. And then when they get it, they're like, well, this is what I sold my soul for. Because they're literally selling their souls to the devil for something that isn't, the devil in the form of Harvey Weinstein. Somebody who's usurped the position of God. They're not prostrating before God and saying, I want to serve you. I want to be a part of the creation. I want to play my role. I want to serve my brothers and sisters. And I want to get closer to God. I want to learn to love God, to love itself. And that's the real essence of life on planet Earth. And so what they're trying to do now is shift all the blame to the masculine principle. And I've talked about this. You can see it. It's a part of a pattern of behavior. They're moving towards feminist power, where the women, the system stays the same. It's an abusive, ego-driven system where big egos and people usurp a divine position and they become slave masters. And they're trying to kill the male figure doing this and elevate a woman figure, but she's equally abusive in a different way. And they're pushing for this, but it's the same thing. And so I'm going to cover this more in some future videos. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the apocalypse. Everybody have a blessed day and be grateful.
Are you a liberal? It's nonsense. You know what? It's like Dave Chappelle said when they asked him, they said, who's going to win between Pacquiao and Mayweather? He said the promoters. That's what's happening. They promote this conflict everywhere. It's Muslims versus the Christians. It's the heterosexuals versus the homosexuals. It's the women versus men. It's youth versus the elders. Right? It's man versus nature. It's always a fight, but there's always somebody or some small group that make money no matter what the outcome is. And they promote conflict. They don't promote harmony. They don't promote peace. They say that, like my grandmother said, they say peace, 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 but they really got evil, wicked intentions in their heart. They want to control people. They want to control what you think, how you think, what you say, where you say it, who you say it to.